And partially that's attributed to the fact that literally everything that we do from here on out builds upon this. So last week we talked about those DML languages, the data manipulation language. And when it is referred to as a DML language, we're referring to select, insert, update, or delete. Now, I like to teach you all everything because, and when I say everything, I mean all four of these. And it's attributed to the fact that when in analytics or within data science, when they refer to like those DML languages, they're ideally referring to all of these. So I think it's important for y'all to have exposure to all of these as well. However, some good news though, about 99% of the time, this is what you're going to be doing. You will always be selecting from your database. And that's partially attributed to the fact of when you get your first analytics role, a lot of times they give the analyst, let's say you're a data analyst or a business analyst or payroll analyst or marketing analyst, any one of those, because I really don't care about titles, in which I think we talk about that in our career coaching as well. But when you get your first role, a lot of times, unless you're like I'm a data engineer, so a lot of times if you are not like a database administrator or a data engineer, the permissions that you're given are read permissions. So 99.9% of the time, you will have select permission. You will be selecting data. However, I go through all of them with y'all because you do need to have some exposure to what that means in the syntax and how it is applied. So this is our select statement. Remember, when we select, we are selecting or we are retrieving data from that table. And we select and we, excuse me, we have our star here. Select star is basically that wild card. That means give me all of the columns, all of the data from this is your table. Anything you do, you are retrieving data from that table. Now, let's say you only want particular specific columns, the same way it was like Tina, the weekly coding challenge you sent me earlier. Let's say you only want particular columns. You just list out your columns right here. Select column, column, column from this table. Insert. Insert into your table name, your columns that are within that table, and your values that are within that column. Table, columns, values. And this adds new data to that table. Update. Let's say you want to modify existing data within that database. Update. This is your table name. Set. That means basically like, you know how you set the thermostat. Like make this something else. So I set this column equals 993. Set this column to 993 where this column equals John, where this condition is met. Y'all remember where is essentially that condition. Delete. Delete from our table name where this column equals John. Where is called a condition. And that's very important for our session tonight because what our session goes into tonight, partially, because we're going to talk about aggregate functions as well, but what our session goes into tonight is logical operators. And logical operators is when you get into that, it's conditions as well, it's filtering as well. It's just additional filtering, like how Tina was mentioning earlier, how she was like, where this column equals this, and that column equals that. Those are logical operators. So any questions about these DML languages? Remember, whenever you are structuring your code, you have to structure them just like this. Select column from this table. It has to be just like that, not some of the time, but all of the time. Literally all of the time. Any questions? Now, okay. Now, for one of our high focuses of tonight, we're going to lean in on logical operators. It's a big focus, and it will provide you the opportunity to get into like that advanced filtering concept of data and your of SQL and data analysis. So, what are logical operators? So, logical operators in SQL are essentially used to combine multiple conditions. Whatever your condition is, I want to add multiple conditions on top of that. And what that does is it gets into what is called like the advanced filtering portion of your data analysis. It provides you as the analytic professional the opportunity to like really hone down on what you are actually trying to retrieve. Now, last week we touched on like filtering. Like I introduced y'all to filtering your your coding challenge, provided you some opportunities to filter out. Can y'all hear me? My thing keeps saying poor connection.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. It like popped up poor connection. I'm like, but if y'all can't hear me, just say something. But we got into like last week, we were introduced to that filtering. This week, and as a matter of fact, this week and every week going forward, we'll literally build upon like what y'all have already learned, and we're literally gonna layer it. And when you get within like the opportunity to start doing use cases, which is when I ask questions and you got to write your code to answer the question, I always think of things like from even like a layer perspective. Like start from the biggest picture and filter down or work down until you answer the question with your data. That's how I always work. And that's to me how it helps from you all like to not get I ain't gonna say intimidated because that sounds like scary, but it helps you to not like get uncomfortable with a lot of conditions in your data. Like if you just see things piece by piece, it helps you like, oh, okay, well they're asking for this, but this is how I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna answer it like this and this and this. Like it just allows you to break it down into like small digestible pieces. So essentially, like those logical operators, they're essentially multiple conditions. That is all it is. And these are your logical operators here. And I'm going to provide some context to each and also give you the opportunity to apply them within your code as well. So, and is exactly, Tina, what you were mentioning earlier when you were saying, what was the active and a GPA 3.0? And if I use and as a logical operator, it ensures that essentially all those conditions are met. If all of those conditions are met, then that data is included in the output. So the way that I say and is here, I got select star. That star is that wild card all day long. Select star from my table, my employees table, where this column equals IT and this column, which is salary, is greater than 50,000. What is this syntax saying, and what is your expected output? When I say output, like what data is going to be returned when you run this code?
All the employees in whatever in the IT department salary that's greater than 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's gonna return you back. Like you said, all the data from that employees table where the department is IT and the salary is greater than 50,000. Where all those conditions are met, it's gonna return that data back. Or so when I use or within my logical operator, I'm literally saying or. Like it's as close to our natural language as we speak. When I say select star from this table where this column equals IT, or this column or department or the column equals HR. So what is this saying, and what is your expected output within this when you execute this code?
That the department that's going to query back to you, it'll be IT or HR.
Yep. Yep. Either or. And when I say or, it's literally like either or. Whichever one of them. It don't even matter. If it meets this condition, bring it back. Or if it meets this condition, bring it back. Whereas and has to meet both of those conditions. Or is like, give me either or. Not negates the condition. That means that it's not that. It doesn't equal that. It's not that. So here we have select star from our employees table where not this column equals this value IT. So what is this? What data is this returning?
Everything but what you're asking for.
Yep.
What department is not IT?
Yep. 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 What about this between? So this between, what it between does is it focuses on ranges. Like if I say between, I need to check data that fits within a specific range. And it's not uncommon to use like here's salary. It's not uncommon to use like dates. It's not uncommon to use anything where you have like this data point and this data point, and I want all the data between it. That's literally when you would use between. When you want a start value and an end value, and I want the data that falls within that range. Here we are selecting star from our employees table where this column is between these values. So what will be returned in this output?
Everything between, is that 40,000 and 70,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar to like the greater than equal to, less than equal to ish. Yeah.
Yep. It is. And I think that what you just said, I think that that's the way to frame stuff. Like when, to me, even now, like I'm learning something new now. Like I'm learning pandas, like an addition of Python, like a cloud, like a data set for Python, like literally now. And the way that I'm like learning it is like I'm applying it to what I already know. But yep, that's exactly it. This is in select star from this table where this column in, and then I list these values. Now, when I say these values, I mean like the actual values or the data that is inside that column. Also, it's important to note that if I say in, I have the expectation that I'm looking for like multiple things within that column. Like I'm looking for all three of these values are in that same column. So I'm saying where, department, in, any of these things. I just check and see if that value exists, and if it does, I need it. Now, can be relevant. I use this a lot within like healthcare. Healthcare has like all those ICD-9 codes and those claim codes and all that other stuff. And if there are certain conditions or certain criteria met, then it's attributed to like certain codes, and you want to list them all out. That was a big place where I use this like a lot. Any questions? Okay. Was everybody able to connect to their VM?
Hold on, let me connect to that.
And then tonight we are going to actually tonight with your use cases, we're actually going to go between like different databases as you do the work. And the reason that I do that is because in your real life work sessions, you're gonna be going through different databases. I'll tell you which database to that we're working on for that use case, but you will have to do your data investigation to find which table. But I'm gonna tell you the database.
When we go into the VM, do we recover the selected files or do not recover?
Don't, because you're gonna write your own code, Octavia. That's Octavia.
Yep.
Yep. You write your own code. Any questions before we get any more questions before we get started?
I'm looking back for the email for how do we get to that VM? What is it? It's called a VM, right? Or a DM?
It's a VM.
A VM. It's via the email, right? It's not anywhere
it's the same way we did last week. Just go right here and then go to RE and then just connect from right here.
That's right.
And then your stuff should already be auto-populated if you're on the same machine.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions, or was everybody else able to get on? I can't see y'all.
I was able to get on, but I just had a comment. Now, you mentioned pandas. How are you liking that?
It's not crazy, only because like I've been exposed. And like I was telling y'all before, like once your brain starts to like work like this, you're gonna be good wherever. Like I was writing code in PowerShell and I ain't never seen PowerShell a day in my life. And I was like, it was a learning curve, but I was able to do it. So yeah. I gotta like automate. It's like for a job, girl. I gotta automate some data that's coming in from Excel and then build some data quality frameworks. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you're right. I'm teaching myself Power BI, and a lot of this that we're learning in SQL like ties into Power BI.
Yep.
Which ties into Microsoft Access.
Yes.
Which ties into Simplified. Like it's crazy. It's like a domino effect.
Yep. So, I actually was having a conversation with Tina just yesterday. And Tina, I'm about to use you as an example. I was actually having a conversation with her yesterday, and we were talking about dashboards. And she was asking about, was it Tableau, Tina? I think it was Tableau she asked about. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to be honest. I said, in my opinion, it's just me. I feel like Power BI is more organic. Like it's more, to me, it's easier to learn than Tableau. Mm-hmm. And it's because, like, especially with like we're using Microsoft SQL now. Power BI and Microsoft SQL and Excel has like a lot of overlap.
Correct.
Yep. I like Power BI. I don't like Tableau, but
I do too. Yeah, because I was introduced to Tableau first. But I feel like if you know either Tableau or Power BI, like if you know one of them, you know the other.
Yep.
Because the interface is similar.
Yep, that's true. I said that yesterday. So I said, but when it comes to like your jobs and stuff, if they see Tableau or Power BI, they're gonna say, okay. Because I mean they're one and the same, but they're not. Like you say, if you know one, you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's something you're gonna ask for if you're trying to go for a data analyst job.
It depends, Tina. You say
Power BI or Tableau. Are they gonna want to see that one of those since it's a dashboard?
That's what I was about to say. So it depends on the role you're going for.
Oh.
Like, and what I mean by that is some data analyst roles are true data analyst roles. Like I didn't touch a dashboard literally until like 3 years ago. And that was not even, it might have been like 2 years ago. And that was because like something broke and like I needed to go in there. I had been exposed to it, but I hadn't like built it because I wasn't like on the reporting side. So it just kind of depends on like what that role is looking for, where that role sits. And I think that with you learning SQL, it gives you like that ledge up, not ledge, that it gives you that leg up because you have a good understanding of like data relationships and stuff, which is very much so needed. And if you can understand and learn SQL, Power BI and Tableau, and anybody that's on the call that's learned it can chime in or whatever. But when you understand SQL, the other stuff is gonna come. This is a little, I ain't gonna say harder to learn, but once you understand this the other stuff is gonna come easier to you.
That's it. Okay.
And that's how that's my experience. Like I was able to pick up Power BI and be like, oh, okay, this is what this doing. Because I knew SQL.
Okay. Oh, and just to let you know, I did get that figured out while you was going over the
Logical operators.
Yep.
I knew it. When I emailed you back today, I was like, she literally gonna scream when I tell her what the problem is. But the thing about you, Tina, and I'm gonna go on with the session, but I gotta tell you this though. What I can say about you is like you're one of those people, like the errors that you're getting, you're very hyper focused on like fixing them. Like you gonna fix it. And that's a very good skill to have. You gonna fix it and you're gonna like another one of your like things that kind of hang you up, and it's not even a bad thing. And the reason that I recognize it, because I do it too, is that you overthink on what you're doing.
Yeah.
You overthink and then you second guess and you almost like talk yourself out of like this can't be it. Because when I saw your code, I was like, this is like 95% right. So that's it. You when people make mistakes like that, it's always comforting to me because it's like, oh, this ain't nothing. Like it's just like surface level stuff that once you find it out and get corrected on one time, you ain't gonna make it no more. So
Yeah, you're right.
yep. And that's just what it is. Like I started off like she gonna literally scream when I tell her this. So this is your okay. So we're in here. So reiterate this again. This is your server. Oh, this is the brain of the system. Ain't nothing working if your server is down. Like it's a mess. So you got your server. And then here we extend this. Here we got our databases. All these black boxes are our databases. And like I said, tonight we are going to actually do work in multiple databases. And the reason that I do that is because I want you to get in like muscle memory of like, okay, let me go here, let me go there, let me go here, let me go there. Of course, it's not going to be like too crazy, but I do want you to get in the habit of just going and doing work from different databases. Now, I'll tell you the database, but I'm not going to tell you the table. So you will still have to do your data investigation. So tonight, to start out, let's go in our healthcare system database. So expand our database and expand your tables. Here we have our different tables. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 tables here. If you want to open up, look at your columns so that you see your data. See your columns so you can have an understanding, do a little data investigation, see what your data relationships are. And remember, when I say data relationships, I'm talking about literally like how we're related in our natural, how humans are related. When humans are related, humans have something in common. Y'all got a common ancestor, a common relative, something that's in common. Data is the same way. So when I say how your data is related, go and look